Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope everyone's doing really good on this evening night. It's beautiful here in Texas. We're running about 70 degrees out and it's fantastic. And here we go. I got little guys here making a point of, hey guys. Hey everybody, how's it going? So I hope everyone knows that my babies sure like to make themselves known. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to share this to my page, and if you wouldn't mind, as soon as you get on, please share. Okay, and we're going to get started. Today's topic is going to be love avoidance and love addiction. What happens is too many people, they are addicted to the possibilities of being in love with somebody, and then they didn't stop to take the time to see if this is the relationship that's really well for them. So then what happens is that they fail and they run. So let's go ahead and we'll go over this and we'll discuss on all the different options. And I'm going to try to lower this down to half an hour today. Okay. Hey, Kay, how's it going? All right. So I just really want to start off with, you know, the different things. Like, here's a big problem that it seems to be the main issue here. And I'm trying to pull this up and it's taken me a second, so I do apologize. Think of it like this. I got dogs. Anyone want a dog? It's a good home. Yeah. Okay, we're sitting on her toy. All right, so you think of this person and this person, not going off on the genders. Okay, so it could be Mrs. going for Mr., Mrs. going for Mrs., Mr. going for Mr., Mr. going for Mrs., vice versa. Okay, but you have the one where there's this stage going on, and it's like a co-addiction type thing where they're crazy for the love and they just attach themselves. So then all of a sudden, as I said earlier, then we come into the love avoidance, because now they're like, did I really get into this? Is this what I needed to do? And it's kind of like that U-Haul mentality. People get together and they don't stop long enough to decide, is this what I really want? And is this my forever person? Okay, so they will each find something attractive about one another, and inevitably something that will detract them from one another, making their dysfunctional relationship as painful as it is frantic and a back and forth co-addictive tango. Okay, now, hey guys, Sheba, Jack Frost. Now, the love addict to whom I have just referred to is called crazy for love. I mean, they identify as being a woman or a man, and all of a sudden, then there's the love avoidance personality, and that's the other one, the one whom I just referred to as give me some room to breathe. So you have the love addiction, then you have the love avoidance, and this person's pulling away. Okay? Usually the give me the room to breathe is the man, and that's 9 times out of 10, or the male brain type personality. Is this gender typing accurate? After all, men can be love addicts, and women can be love avoidants. In fact, there are powerful forces at work in which American culture that distributes love addiction to women and significantly greater frequency than to men. So the love avoidance to men is significantly greater. Now, the most powerful generator of this disproportionate is a reveal when we understand the psychological concepts of disempowerment and false empowerment. Okay? And whoever's with me, hey guys, I see we're filling up the room. Let me go ahead and ask each of you that are watching and joining me today, caring is sharing. Now remember, you're getting the help that you need today, well, other people need the help. So if you could just share this, I would be eternally grateful. And I will be asking throughout the session. Now, trauma That's a big thing. That results in disempowerment abuse. It's falsely empowering. So what happens is that, say like you have an abusive parent onto a child. So then all of a sudden, this person, as they're growing up, they're taking this abuse with them. And this is where love avoidance comes in and love addiction comes in, because either they feel empowered or disempowered. And that's our problem. So the love addictive suffers is fear of neglect and abandonment. So they're desperate to be with somebody. So in childhood, their parents have shamed them into thinking themselves unworthy. So without the help of an outside agency, and that's where I always say, I mean, if you can't get it, you're struggling deeply, immensely inside, don't try to solve it all yourself. There's resources out there. There's places like Healing Hands, where that's what we do. We'll work with you one-on-one. And then there's therapy. Now that's your long-term. So if you're really suffering from some type of inner turmoil that is going to require you lengthy time, then I highly recommend enrolling yourself and seeking a therapist. Okay? Now, we're going to go on, and we're not going to really dwell on this type of personality because we already know where we're at. So let's really discuss love avoidance. Your love addict, we know, is desperate because they didn't get it somewhere in their life and they feel they need it. And then you have the love avoidance that enters the relationship not because he is seeking confirmation of his own worth, but out of a sense of duty. In his childhood, his parents taught him that it's his job to care for people who cannot care for themselves. As an adult, the love avoidant, while feeling superior or pity for the neediness of his love partner, his addictive love partner, thrives on power. It gives him over her. So eventually he grows, and again, remember, women can have male brains, so therefore this can be a he or her for the love avoidance, okay? Now this person grows resentful of all the work it takes to be the caregiver and will soon start to feel suffocated by this relationship. Hey. Now, suffocating a love avoidant begins to distance himself or her from the love addict, who, after several bouts of hysterical trying to get, this relationship back, this is trying to get the love avoidant to pull back, eventually it becomes exhausted. And with the pursuit of the love avoidant, and turns to someone else with whom this love avoidant can helplessly find another love addict that needs him or her. So, because it becomes a cycle. It's just any type of addictive activity. It could be alcohol, sex, work, spending enormous amounts of money, maybe exercising. It's any substitute, even food, that's another thing. Any substitute the love addict can do to substitute what they need. Okay? Now, at this point, the co-addictive personality, the love avoidant who is no longer the object of this love addict's desire, oh no, we're going to reject that. The love avoidant in turn to someone else who, I think I just threw myself off, didn't I? See what happens? All right, but the love addict has a desire and feels the pain of no longer being needed. It's feeling of rejected, being pushed away. So without someone whose weakness cries out for this type of strength, the love avoidant, his or her sense is superiority and taking control and finding some way to diminish the love addictive personality. So they can break them to the point where they don't feel worthy anymore. So if you know somebody like this, this is something you may want to consider not entering into a relationship with somebody. If they seem like they're so needy to take care of you, they're going to take care of you, and then all of a sudden it's that personality that is eager to take care of you, which strongly can become the love avoidant. because they all of a sudden feel like it's too much for them. Okay? So what happens is the love addict, never having been unconditionally loved by their neglectful and or abandoning parent, for a knight in shining armor type personality, the self-esteem in which never had been mirrored by anybody, they can easily become a love avoidant. So, and that's just something that you really want to kind of consider. So if you're in a relationship with someone where it feels like it's so much work, you're putting every bit of effort into this relationship, and this person is belittling your feelings, blaming you for making them want to be away from you, this is unhealthy, and you really need to consider breaking away from it. Okay? And there's help out there for that. And there's people you can go to. There's different organizations. Again, contact us here at Healing Hands. Don't remain in an unhealthy relationship. Now, here's the problem with this type of personality, and that is it's an attraction to what is familiar. So what happens is the love avoidant will do everything to pull the love addict in. Okay, because it's familiar. They like the attention that a love addict is going to give them. And that in itself almost becomes a really major part of control, because it gives the love avoidant power over the love addict. Now, in some cases, it has been known that a love addict can turn love avoidant. And they're so desperate to find love that they're addicted to sex and all these other things. And then once they have it, they push it away. Okay? So there's different levels out there, and you really need to be, if you find yourself where you just struggle with being single for any length of time, you really need to start questioning yourself, because you have to love yourself enough to say, I don't need to be with anybody. I love me. And that, if you're suffering from love addiction, or in this case, love avoidance, you'll learn how to love yourself enough to become healthier, not for just yourself, but a future partner. All right? So here we go. The love avoidants are accustomed to needy, dependent, helpless people whom they can rescue. You need to, that is one of the biggest things. So it gives them, like I said, control and a feeling of safety and power, because they know that the love addict is not going to leave them, but they can tell the love addict to leave. Okay? When they pick up the right signal, a love avoidance moves in seductively and powerfully. And these people who think of themselves say directly what they mean, solve their own problems, and care adequately for themselves, but they're not interested in the love avoidance. And that is when you have a healthy personality who knows themselves to love themselves, to recognize this. And that is what you can do, because what it's called, it's reducing your shame in your own person. And again, loving yourself enough. So the consciousness fear of love avoidance is that fear of being drained and used. And that's the problem, is because they do. They drain and they use you. And it's also an unconscious fear of a love avoidant is to consciously fear a love addict. And that is the fear of abandonment. So what will happen is the love avoidant, they have all this control, but let the love addict take back control, and it makes them feel out of control. It's a disempowerment of them. And that can make them feel like they just don't know what to do. And then they will start pursuing the love addict again, because they don't like to be told no. It's within that to where now their power's been taken away from them. Okay? Now, I want to go over, like I said, we're not going to spend a lot of time today. We're probably only going to do about a half an hour, so I just want to hit some key things. And And let's go over some characteristics of a love avoidance. So this way you know to avoid this type of personality. Okay? Love addicts are attracted to people with certain identifiable and fairly predictable characteristics. And people with these characteristics are attracted to love addicts in return. The primary attribute marking all of the characteristics on the model partners for a love addict is avoidance, which seems incredible to their partner since love avoidance comes to their partner so strong at first. Now, we have characteristics. The love avoidance, they evade intensity within the relationship by creating intensity and activity, usually addictions outside of the relationship. So the love avoidance being known in the relationship in order to protect themselves from engulfment and control by the other person, they will eliminate intimate contact. They will use a variety of processes such as distancing themselves. Hey, everybody, remember, share it, share it, share it. Hit the share button, share it, please. And then they conduct life from behind protective emotional walls. So it's like an unseen puppeteer. You know, they're continually trying to control the choices of others, people with whom they are seeking a relationship. So here we go. We have two fears, one conscious and one that's unconscious. So two fears. The love avoidant consciously and greatly fears intimacy because they believe that they will be drained, engulfed, and controlled by it. In childhood, they are drained, engulfed, and controlled by someone else's neediness, reality, and existence. And they don't want to go through the experience again. Now, unconsciously, here's the big thing, okay? The love avoidant fears being left at some level. Does that make sense to you? Here you go. They want control. But so on some level, their fear of being rejected. So the fear of adulthood stems from being abandoned as a child by the caregiver, since when a child is forced to be nurtured by a parent, the parent abandons the child needing to be nurtured. For instance, let's say a man is raised by a mom. Dad's absent. He's gone. He's not been in a picture. He's been out of the picture all his life. So he feels abandoned. So that's where that unconsciousness comes in. Okay? But here we go. The love avoidant, they really want a relationship, but they also fear them. Since love avoidants usually had very little human contact in childhood, that relieved like the pain and fear and emptiness of abandonment that they did not get in a relationship. They can relieve these feelings, but this unconscious fear is being left draws love avoidance towards relationships. Even though they have great difficulty making commitment or connecting to their partner, they want it. So it's almost like you take this love avoidance, but you give them some love addiction mixed into it because they need the love. They're addicted to having somebody, but then they want to avoid it when it starts to get real. So it's like, have you ever been in a situation where you're brand new relationship? It's great. It's fantastic. You are in the honeymoon stages. Sex is great. Hanging out's great. You just want to cuddle all the time. You want to love all the time. And then all of a sudden, you get into your first fight. Oh man, it has now become real. This is no longer your honeymoon stage anymore. Now you got to work for this relationship. And the love avoidant has a hard time getting to that point. Right away, when they start to feel a little pressured from having to take care of their love addict, that's when they start to push. Now, why are love addicts attracted to, why are love avoidants attracted to love addicts? I can't seem to get that off my tongue. Love avoidants recognize and are addicted to the love addict's strong fear of being left, because love avoidants know that they have to trigger their partner's fear is threatening to leave. So it's like control, and that's very narcissistic. Love avoidants believe that being in control this way will allow them to escape being drained, engulfed, and controlled, and at a deeper level to avoid being left themselves. So if they tear down their partner doesn't feel like there's any defense to protect themselves. Does this make sense to you? Have you come across someone like this? If you have, now you know, you've seen this personality, so you know how to protect yourself. And again, if you are the love addict, it's easy. We could work on that. Again, contact Healing Hands, and I'll be happy to work with you one-on-one. Okay? Now, avoiding intimacy within your relationship, that is one of the biggest things where they fear intimacy. They feel that they don't want control. They want control in their relationship, and that's a main part. Their addictions create intensity outside of the relationship. So basically, medicated, intolerable. Even though they may not be taking medication per se, there's other ways to do it. And again, it could be by food. It can be by sex. It can be anything that has to do with that. Okay? Oh, you know someone, Kay, huh? I don't doubt it. I mean, we've been on this earth enough. Now, this here are the higher things that we've gone over. And just remember that they need to be in control. And it is what it is. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of power over this if you are a love addict. The only thing you can do is take control and say, it's time to start changing. I need to love me. And once I love me, this love avoidance can never control me again. Okay? And that is the key. You have to love yourself. So here's 6 signs that your partner is love avoidance. Once I'm done with this, I'll open it up if you have any questions. Other than that, we'll be wrapping up early today. Okay? The signs are evades intimacy and emotional connection. So they will make excuses why they can't be intimate with you. Make excuses why they don't want to snuggle or struggle. It's because they feel vulnerable. And you have to remember that. It's that vulnerability feeling within them. So also, in the relationship, it's different from who you met first. So let's say this is another sign. All of a sudden, you have this amazing person, and they just want to give, and they make you feel so loved, and they dote all their time on you. And they make you feel so very important. And then all of a sudden, they retract that love, and they just pull it away. They exhibit, it's an illusion of intimacy. It's not really intimacy, it is an illusion. So the illusion is caring and the connection. They form an intimate attachment, idolizing their love addicted partner. So it's like they know everything to say. They're charming, seductive, they appear strong, stimulating, caring, generous. And these are all the things that they do. It just seems like magic to the love addict. Okay? And again, there's a way to break that cycle. And I promise you, there is a way. Okay? Now, the third sign that a person is love avoidant is the distancing strategy. Okay? So they just all of a sudden just kind of start pulling away. And you're left sitting there thinking, what did I do wrong? Is this me? Did I do something wrong? Or they will tell you, oh, I love you, or avoid telling you they love you and make excuses for what they're doing. And they avoid that physical closeness. Okay? Compulsive problems is another factor in avoidance personalities. The love avoidant often has some type of addictive problem. They may gamble. Maybe they like porn. way too much. Maybe they like their cocktails. It's something that they can focus their strong urges on that takes them away from their addictive love partner. Okay? That helps them push away. And this way, an addiction, it becomes so powerful to them. It's a method to escape from and sabotages every close relationship. Now, here we go. And I mentioned this word, and we're getting right to it. Number 5. Our love avoidance is a narcissist, or they display narcissistic traits. A love avoidants are prone to narcissism. Not all are full-blown narcissists. Nevertheless, a majority will almost certainly present some traits of narcissism. Let's see. For example, the one they wear in public, it's a face. They have 2 faces. One they wear in public, and the one they wear for their close interpersonal relationships, which is not the good one. On the outside in public, they can present a nice, pleasant exterior. People who are not close to them may view them as fun, confident, charming, outgoing, and a social person. Only those close to the narcissist have any idea that there is more to them than this fictitious face. Behind their facade of a tough skin, strength, and charisma is a very fragile, wounded person who thinks that the world is all about him or her and feels about their relationship and their partners. So that is where this comes in, and that it can almost be extremely dangerous to the partner, the love addict, because they're the one being affected. Now, I see everyone's still here. Can you please share this? I'd appreciate it. Share it to your page. Let other people know to come on in and join us. Okay? Here's another narcissistic trait, which is our love avoidant. Please remember that. Our love avoidant shows narcissistic traits or is a narcissist. Okay? They lack empathy. The emotional support of understanding is minimal at best. Inability to identify with and understand their partner's feelings. They don't care. Things so much can be wrong with their partner. They're sick. They don't care. They have no empathy. None. It's an inability to care or be compassionate. And that can destroy their partner. And that is the saddest thing. Number 6 is resistance to professional help, which means the love addict can suggest time and time again, we need counseling. And the love avoidant will have 100 reasons why not. That's the narcissistic, I am not wrong, I'm right. They're often resistant to change and rather content with the status quo as it is. And if they agree to go to counseling, they have just lost control of the matter. And they're not going to do that, unfortunately. Now, that's real. That's our traits. Okay? And these people, they're actually emotionally unavailable. How do we stop it, though? How do us, regular people, the sex addict, seek to medicate their pain with episodes of sexual gratification, including being with an avoidant? So now our sex addicts, here we go. Doesn't mean they're actually addicted to sex, but yeah, they are. This is another part, and this is part of that. And that is they seek to medicate their pain. Watching porn, voyeurism. The love addict seeks to get high through the intoxicating whirlwind of romance and relationships. The fantasy of emotional gratification plays a huge role in the love addict, who can be either a man or a woman. Remember this. There's no key to that love addict. It can be any gender. Notions of finding a soulmate just lives with them. It's like masturbation. They need it. They need to release. Well, and they need to love. And it falls all within the same concept. So despite the deep longing for partnership, a love addict tends to be drawn to unavailable partners, and there's your love avoidant. So these partners may exhibit what we call, here we go, love avoidance, which only motivates the love addict to pursue them even more. So now this love addict is pursuing the love avoidance, and the love avoidance is taking the power from the love addict by making them pursue them. Does that make sense? Are you following me? Okay? Because they're terrified of abandonment, so they'll allow them to keep chasing them. So the love avoidant, they seek to control and manipulate the others by withholding that affection, which makes the person continue to keep chasing them. And that is very, very, very unhealthy. So it just kind of boils down to the love addict must learn to self-soothe. And this is what we're discussing. So if you feel within yourself that you are the love addict and you have lost control of yourself and your own self-being, and you've allowed a love avoidance to take control of you, then here are some steps I need you to follow. 1, you must learn to self-soothe. That means control your own happiness and approach a potential partner as companions rather than saviors. Okay? So you got to stop looking at what they can do for you in a relationship, because that's how you're seeing it. You're not seeing it as, this is the person I want to be with the rest of my life. It's, oh, they can do this for me, they can do this for me. And, you know, it's like compiling a list. No, 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 no. Get rid of that list. If you have to start making a list, you're a love addict, and you need to stop and change that. Okay? Because the love avoidant, they must learn how to express their vulnerability and allow themselves to receive affection without fear. So that's the two things, one for the love avoidant and one for the love addict. Okay? So I'm going to go into this little part right here, and then we're going to wrap it up, okay? And that is that love can be, it's like a battlefield. It's declare independence and addiction to love. Our media is dominated by the idea of the perfect love story. Come on, we watch them all the time, right? We're sitting there, we're crying and feeling all emotional because we want that. We want that kind of love. Man, who doesn't, right? But romance novels, romantic comedy movies, teen dramas, popular music, some are quaint and cute, others emotional, even tragic, but all are idolization of love. And they're just a plot. It's not a surprise that many of us grow up with this unrealistic expectation about love and romance, and what eventually leads to heartache and disappointment. So what happens when the idea of perfect love, idolized true love, becomes an obsession? And it happens because now you're obsessed because you got to get that back. You had this with this person, and now you're grasping at straws to make it work. Because you just knew this was going to be your forever. Kind of scary, right? Yeah. So, can someone actually become addicted to love? The answer is yes. It's true. People can become addicted, and they go through partners like you wouldn't believe. And then they have these unhealthy relationships, and then they feel victimized by each of their partners because of it. Because they end up with love avoidance. The love addict always ends up with a love avoidance because this person controls them. So for most people, love and attraction are a natural part of life. Most of us can differentiate between the idolized Hollywood romance and reality. But for a love addict, love becomes a source of addictive emotional high that distorts the real nature of the relationship because they're too busy dreaming and idolizing what it could be instead of taking it for really what it is. So, and you know, here's the sad thing. A healthy individual, if they get with a love avoidance, can almost turn, not totally, but give them almost the same sense and loss of a love addict. Okay? So For most, love and attraction are a natural part of life. Most of us can differentiate. So remember that. An addiction to love may not initially seem dangerous, but it's very serious mental and emotional affliction that interferes with a person's ability to establish healthy, genuine relationships. So we want to learn how to change that. And again, for you who are love addicts, and you know you are because you're seeing yourself in what I'm describing, we have to learn to help you learn how to love you. You have to love yourself. And once you love yourself, a love avoidant can never take that from you again. They can never take that kind of control. So let's get rid of those highly unrealistic romantic expectations, because that's what it is. And let's learn how to love ourselves. And then once you learn to love yourself, nobody can take that from you. Anyways, so here we go. We are at the end of it. There was a lot more on this subject, and I may touch base on it some more, but not today, because it just seems like an hour is getting to be a little bit too much each time, and you know, it's hard for people to focus that entire time, do an entire 1 hour session. So here we go. We will go ahead and end today. We've already gone, 36 minutes, a little bit over. And let's get together next week. And if you feel that you want to discuss more on the love avoidance, I would love for you to go ahead and inbox me and tell me that's what you want. And then we'll go ahead and pick up where we left off. Does that sound great to everyone? Okay. It's been great visiting with you again today. I take joy in sitting here with you and going over all of the different areas and aspects of ways that we can repair ourselves and become healthy. So to become a healthier you got to put a little effort. All right. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye, everybody.